You should have all by now received an email online, potential academic disruption due to the coronavirus. So I wanted to talk a little bit more specifically about what that means for our school and how we're going to proceed at this point, and make sure to the best of my ability I can answer questions that you have. First of all, absolutely first and foremost, our school is open, running, business as usual. That's the first message. We're open, running, and business as usual. What the university is doing is planning, and this comes under the moniker of risk management. So the university is planning, should we be in a situation in the future where we may need to hold classes online or close the university for a short period of time. We are not doing that. There is not any foreseeable future in that, but we do have to start planning. And in that vein, there are a couple things for us to think about. First of all is our classes. And with respect to our classes, the university is putting out a web page that we've been working on over the weekend, giving guidance to faculty about how they can start thinking about putting portions of their class or their class between now and the end of the semester online, should they need to do so. Now, there are two ways to think about that. One is synchronous and one is asynchronous. Asynchronous means you've loaded all the materials and you've put everything together and the class is kind of running itself. Synchronous is that you have opportunities to be in real-time conversation and dialogue with your students, or anywhere in between, completely synchronous and completely asynchronous. I will tell you, in the materials that I reviewed over the weekend, I was a little concerned because there would seem to be a devolution to narrated PowerPoints. Which can be deadly after a while. But my understanding is they have broadened that and they're going to be working on that. In my own experience, I know for many of you, in your experience with putting classes online, it is not something that happens overnight. And so I would encourage you to start to familiarize yourself with some of those processes. We do have a number of people in our faculty who are really high-end user experts in online learning already, and I'm sure you want to try to gravitate towards some of them in terms of thinking about support. Our IT faculty, or staff rather, know that they have to be available and are ramping up to provide support across the university. The idea of a $2,000 fee when they register for that course to cover their travel and living and different aspects of the work that they're doing. I am recommending to the faculty, and I recommended to the leadership team, and nobody, if you have a concern, let me know privately. I'm recommending that should we have to cancel that course, and depending on what money we can recoup, which probably will not be a lot because those deposits for travel and living are already been made, but should we not be able to recoup the fee, that we actually use our discretionary money to make those students whole. So if anybody has any concerns about that, let me know, but I think that's how we will proceed with that student group. Another thing that we'll be thinking about as a university is that we have a number of faculty who make international trips as part of their work here at the university. And again, if it's to a level 2 or level 3 country, that is not something that the university is going to sponsor or endorse at this point. Many professional conferences and meetings have already been canceled and postponed until sometime in the fall, so a lot of that is already happening. I did want to let you know that if you are going to a professional conference, even if you're going on your own steam, you're still going on something that's related to your work. And so that would be something that should be vetted through the university committee.
Can you speak up? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So if you're going to a professional conference, and even if you are paying for the professional conference yourself, If you are going in the professional conference because this is your professional home, that's something that you need to keep in mind what our policies are. So it's not just those things we pay for, it's if you are going as someone who works at Fordham University to this professional conference, even if you elected to pay for it yourself, that's something that we would be moving through the university review panel. Faculty who have been to level 2 and 3 countries and have come back have been self-quarantined. And I very strongly encourage you to reflect on the responsibility we all have. If we know we have been in a high-risk situation, we need to disclose so that you can be self-quarantined. We don't know much about this virus except that it's very contagious. And we do not want to spread panic. Certainly that's not our role, but we do want to make sure that we all act responsibly in that context. So that's the faculty and the class side of it. Before I get to the student side of it, I want to know if there are any questions.
For example, for ARA, it looks like in San Francisco there are more cases that have been reported.
So at this point, San Francisco is, and that has not been determined to be either a level 2 or level 3 area, and so we're moving forward. We're moving forward in that context. It's not, we've got spot cases right now, so we're not inhibited in that. I mean, the university wants to be very clear. We don't want to spread panic or fear. We're really looking at where, from an epidemiological perspective, there is a risk. Any other questions from the class and faculty and employment side? Okay, let me talk now a little bit about the student side of things. A couple things to keep in mind. Let me just tell you in general, our university has been flooded, both our safety, our Division of Public Safety, as well as the health centers on campuses, has been flooded with calls from students and from parents, particularly undergraduate parents who are just panicked. So we're trying to keep everybody calm, and I will tell you at this point, our health centers, if a student has a concern, the health centers are encouraging the students to call, not go to the health center. Our official offices are flooded and overwhelmed, which is why they've really asked the dean's offices and the other VPs to step up in terms of their own areas. If a student raises a concern with you, please refer the student to the dean's office so that we can work with the student. There are some students who may have a registered disability with the university or a respiratory-related disability that makes them particularly vulnerable. And we want to make sure that we respond to those concerns and needs, and we will do that on an individual basis with students who have appropriate documentation and so forth. So if a student does raise an issue, please refer the student directly to the dean's office so that we can work with that. The message by and large to the students is we're, as a university, monitoring this. We take it seriously from a risk management perspective, but we're open for business and we're continuing to do our work. So I just wanted to make sure we're clear about that. With respect to students who are going to be on spring break, and traveling, we want to encourage students, and as we are encouraging faculty, to think carefully about where they go and to consult the CDC website. Facebook yesterday took off over 200 fake coronavirus fighting products. There is much more hocus pocus out there than reality. So please encourage people to go to the CDC website, which is a good source of information. The other area of concern is our international students. Here we go. Is our international students. And we do have students who are from level 2, level 3 areas of the world. And Again, they have concerns about spring break themselves. The university is going to make sure that those students can stay here on campus in the dorms over spring break. We do have students who are slated to graduate this year who are from level 2 and level 3 areas. We will sign off on CPT waivers for students. For those of you who don't know what those are, students come on a student waiver. They have an opportunity to extend their time here to work, continue working on clinical placements that will be advantageous training for their career. For us, that's every student in our school. So we have already, as a matter of course, and every year as a matter of course, signed a number of CPT waivers for students. If additional students come forward, they should know that that's not something that we're going to push back on. It's not something that we're going to block. And again, they can come and talk to us in the dean's office and we'll help them move forward. We have students that can stay in the clinical placements that they are in and stay longer if they'd like. So we want to make sure that their needs are met too. Other questions? Mm-hmm.
So as not to raise panic, should we avoid mentioning anything about these contingency plans in class at this point? Or should we be raising this actively in each of the classes that we teach?
Well, from the last 48 hours I just spent at AACTE, where literally every dean was running out of sessions on the phone with their university about their plans, my sense is that you will probably have students saying something to you. In that context, the message is the university is making plans, but we hope and that we won't need to activate those plans at all. That our focus is really making sure that you have a smooth end to your academic year. We do, if anybody has a particular concern, they are, please encourage them to come to the dean's office and we can handle their concern on an individual basis. But right now, our job as a university is to prepare for the worst and love the best. So we want to try to keep people very calm and again, direct them to the fact that there are 5 level 3, level 4, or level 2, level 3 places around the world. And so we want to be clear about that. I hope that helps. Other questions that people might have?
Has the provost's email gone to the students?
The provost, well, so here's the tricky thing. My computer was all messed up and had to be completely wiped. The provost email that you all got this morning, I didn't even get. Now, I knew what it said because I got it last night, but I'm not sure who's gotten it. There has been a general email out to the students and to the whole community last week, which is how the students should respond. We're talking about the administrative structure of the school. So essentially, I doubt that it's gone out. I know it was going out to faculty and staff. And we as deans asked that it go out by 9 o'clock this morning. All the arts and sciences chairs were having a meeting at 10 o'clock. There are just different ways that we wanted to try to get very quickly into it. We are taping this and we'll edit it. This is a spontaneous tape, but we do want to be able to get this information out to our adjuncts as well. The biggest issue is if somebody asks you a question, if you specifically do not know the answer or don't know it in writing, please don't make something up. Please, encourage people to either look at the existing emails that are out there, or they can be referred to the dean's office. We also want to be very careful not to flood public safety or the health centers on the campuses with questions that are procedural, woulda, coulda, maybe questions, because as I said, they are overwhelmed right now with calls already. Any other questions? Thank you so much. Want to remind everybody we have a session this evening. We will be doing demo teaching session about how to bring STEM into the classroom in low-cost ways, and we have some junior scientists who are 7th and 8th graders who will be joining us. So I hope you can join us for that. Thank you.